Hey folks, welcome back to Only Best Fantasy Novels. My name is Robin, and today I want to talk about the 8th book in the Wars of Light and Shadow series by Janny Wurts, Storm Fortress. And this book brings in, is an explosive conclusion to the 5-book arc, flush in the middle of the Wars of Light and Shadow series. I think this is the Alliance of Light arc that wraps up with this book. And as much as it's a book that's flush in the middle of the larger series as a whole, it's very much an ending of this arc, and with all that entails. So this book was just a ride from start to finish. What is it even about? So Lysair's rabid religious followers, following the events, enraged by the perceived attack of the Master of Shadow during the events of the previous book, Traitor's Knot, they're amassing, and they have Duke Branzian and his family at their ancestral seat of Alistron smack dab in their sights. Does Arathan dare assist his allies in the coming war and potentially trigger a massacre that will put everything that's happened before to shame? Or does he, or will he even be given a choice in how he decides to, in what he decides to do here? So, like, the name of this book is Storm Fortress. I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you that it's all about the siege of Alistron. Where this gets interesting is that Janny decides to take this story in some very different directions. So I remember seeing a random live stream. I don't remember on whose YouTube channel at this point or how far back it was, but she was talking about conflict, and she was saying that there's always an option that no one chooses, the option to walk away. And that may or may not be what she does in this book. You'll have to read and find out. What I will say is that the way she approaches conflict in this book, it very much draws on that mindset that where she says, like, there's always an alternative. The way that this book plays out is not what you would expect going into it. Like any other epic fantasy writer, this would just be a straight up fight to the death, murder, mayhem, massacre, you name it. All of that would go on. This book deals with it, while incorporating some of that, it deals with things also in a very different way, in a very cool way, that really cements why people have so much fun with the series. One of the many reasons why it's so engaging, because you never, even though these are often very standard scenarios for epic fantasy, the direction that they go in is never what you would think. So just a book packed with so many twists and turns and back and forth. It's just a wild ride. Like I said, this book has 5 books worth of subplots and storylines to draw on and close out, and that's exactly what you get over the course of this book. Like, some character journeys come to their conclusion in particular ways that you may be happy with, you may be less than happy with. There are some arcs that have been brewing from the first book, the third book in the 5-book arc, that come to a head here. There's just some fantastic finales to some subplots, and at the same time, the book somehow along the way, it plants seeds and sets the stage for what comes next. Because what comes next seems to be, from just based from reading this, it seems like it's going to be very explosive, very exciting, based on some of the things that happen in here. At the same time, like, as always, these books would not be what they are without the characters, and the revelations regarding 2 particular characters in here need to be discussed. The first, of course, is Arathan. Like, this is the book where we see just how much he's changed as a result of Peril's Gate, because of the choices that he makes in here, and the way that he approaches conflict and how he deals with the situation. Like, this absolutely really good. We see just how deep a toll just how deeply ingrained that trial in the Kiwartans has impacted him, essentially. And then we have Lysair. Like, one of the things that I've mentioned more than once during these videos on the Wars and Lights of Shadow is that Lysair is he's a complicated character in that, yes, he's very much a victim, but he also has a tendency to wake up and choose violence. And as a result of that, I can often even though you should sympathize with him, you can also really hate this guy. And this is the book that definitively splits the hair. This is the book that reveals exactly how much of it, or to an extent, without it being given his own words, we get to see almost definitively how much of the things that have occurred to date have been by Lysier's choice, and how much of it has been as a result of him being a victim of the curse. So, brace for that. And then, of course, there's just like the story itself. Like I said, this is the combination of multiple sub-arcs. So there's just some dramatic relationship changes and dynamics, and just some crazy things that happen in this book that really bring the series to a head. It goes in some really incredible directions by the end of the book. Things that you didn't, there was no hint it was going to come, or it was even a glimmer in the eye on the horizon, that kind of thing, happen. Like, so many revelations and these kind of things. It's really, really cool. And of course, as usual, this is all in Janny's signature style. Like I said, one of the things that, for me, it kind of felt like she dropped the ball a bit when it comes to the ending of Pearl's Gate, but she absolutely hit it out of the park with Traitor's Knot. This book just brings the series to an all-time high. Like, Storm Fortress may very well be one of the best books in the series, not just in the way that the story unfolds, because of how it unfolds as compared to what a typical epic fantasy siege story would be like, but just the revelations and also the seeds that are planted for what comes in the remaining 3 books. Like, it's cool. It's really cool. What else can I say? Another thing that I think this book made me appreciate more than all the others, and I don't remember if I've ever actually mentioned this in any of my other videos, is that one of the reasons that this world has been so engaging and so engrossing is that the lexicon that the lexicon of words that comprises the series, not just the vocabulary in the in-world in terms of how people, in terms of speech and how people communicate with each other, but also the lexicon in terms of the wording that Janny uses to write these books. Certain words do not exist. She absolutely refuses to use certain words, and what will happen instead is where you would get one word that would describe a particular thing or a particular situation or so, she will go about it in a little more of a roundabout way and use use words that are very much part of her pool that she draws on for this series. And whereas that one word that she could have substituted would make it clearer and more obvious to read what exactly is happening, because of the fact that it just doesn't exist within the context of this world for whatever reason, or within the context of her vocabulary when it comes to the actual writing, it does not get used. And it's one of those things that it amplifies the writing in a way, and at the same time it shows just how deeply immersive she intends for you to, how deeply immersed she intends to be with you in the story, to the point where if a particular word were to appear for the first time at like the 9th or 10th book in the series, it would almost feel jarring, because it's not a word that we've seen used in these books to date, if that makes sense. Like, there's a you kind of have to read multiple of the books to kind of get what I'm saying and really be paying attention to it. But it's something I've noticed over the last few books that it really started to stick in my brain that, wait, why not just this, why that? And yeah, so yeah, either way, what did I think about this book? Well, I've been talking about that for the last 10 minutes or so. Really excited installment. I'm really hyped to see where the series is going from here, especially because I only have 3 books left, and I was hoping to space these out, but I don't think I can do that at this point. I need to know what happens next. So I'm almost immediately going to be diving into the next one. And yeah, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.